21st century medicine is advancing at a blinding pace. But many doctors are the first to admit they don't have all the answers. For every modern miracle cure, there can also be a traditional home remedy, a herbal alternative, or an ancient therapy people swear by. Many of these treatments have been handed down the generations. But how many of them actually work?
Hello. Step into my office, Stevie.
Thank you.
I'm Jan Fran.
Why do you think it works?
And in this new series, we meet the everyday Australians who claim their homespun health cures work miracles.
What do you got? Plain yogurt for dandruff.
It is hemp kombucha.
Breastfeeding enhancing smoothie.
The most promising treatments will be scientifically trialled by an independent research team.
All right, good luck.
Thank you so much.
But first, they have to convince our team of medical experts.
This could be life-changing for the health of Australians.
Journalist and doctor Ginny Mansberg,
I'm trying to fight my science brain, I really am.
medical research specialist Professor Ash Haig,
I just have to make a confession. I'm a convert.
and groundbreaking neurosurgeon Dr. Charlie Teo.
Everyone thinks of medicine as being black and white, that we have the answers to everything. It's not true. In fact, many of these alternative treatments may be the answer that we've been searching for decades.
It cures a cough and it's a beer.
Yeah.
With diverse remedies
I'm a laughter researcher.
I make my own deodorant.
I believe I've discovered a cure for baldness.
Baldness?
Yeah.
from the traditional
My grandfather passed down to my father, and I was passing on to me.
This is a Peruvian smell. You probably feel
I've
that.
smelled that before.
to the controversial.
Drink it and you should be cured.
Cured.
Cured. This saved my vagina.
You're what?
And extreme.
It's maggot tea.
No.
No way is that going up mud.
Oh my God.
The pressure is on to decide
That tastes great.
which treatments are worthy of a real-world scientific trial.
Asha, I'm going to completely disagree with you here. I think this is everything that this show is about.
This is Medicine or Myth. Under scrutiny this week, the panel toasts a soothing remedy for coughs that doesn't really work.
Do friends put on fake coughs around you just so they can sample your wares?
A walk in the park to help cancer patients.
You're going to walk
Yes.
around a tree.
We're working in sync with nature.
And a hair-raising remedy that Charlie may find hard to resist.
That I might be able to help them with their hair loss. And some men claim that it's helping them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
But first, finding remedies to trial is serious business. But that hasn't taken the ever-present smile off the face of Melbourne-based Merv. Laughter has turned Merv's life around, and he's now passionately educating others on the art of chuckling, giggling, and ha-haing their way to health and happiness.
G'day.
Hi.
How are you, Murphy?
I'm good. You're Jan?
I am Jan.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Tell me what your remedy is.
Laughter.
Laughter is your remedy.
That's it. I've got nothing else.
What is laughter a remedy for?
Everything. And I do have some processes that I think the panel will be interested in about how we can enable people to laugh.
Well, you know, they do say that laughter is the best medicine.
They do say that.
So I am going to send you up to meet our panel of experts.
High five. Take care.
It's working.
But will Merv's remedy be infectious enough for a trial?
Hello?
Hi.
Everything all right?
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Merv. I'm a laughter researcher, therapist, and trainer.
Love it. I recommend it to all my patients.
Laughter therapy?
Oh, laughter.
Are we talking about positive mindset?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because laughter is so contagious. Like, Merv, you were walking down the stairs and you were laughing. We didn't really know what we were laughing at. We were just kind of laughing with you.
Yes.
How did you get into it?
Back in 2002, I was working really, really hard. I had an IT business as we went through the Y2K thing. It was a good time to be in business, but very stressful, long hours. And it just all caught up on me and just collapsed. They rushed me to hospital and they diagnosed me with anemia and maturation arrest. Apparently that's when your bone marrow stops producing the blood cells. So I went home and sat down and just started to laugh. And everybody said, why are you laughing?
So, Merv, you were unwell,
Yes.
things were looking pretty bad.
Yes.
You went home and you started laughing.
I think people would actually suggest that I lost my mind, and I think they might have been right because I couldn't work out what was going on. I just couldn't work it out, so I just started to laugh and laugh and laugh.
Right.
OK, so I'd just like to maybe offer you an explanation.
Please.
Now, I might be completely wrong and off track here, but so you had a myelodysplastic disorder where your bone marrow wasn't producing the right number of cells.
Correct.
You may have had some mini strokes because of that.
Yep.
For example, if your platelets are low, you can bleed into your brain. If your white cell count's extraordinarily high, you can actually get little strokes in your brain. So
Yep.
let's just presume that you did have this blood marrow disorder.
Yep.
And you had a little bleed. Well, there is a part of the brain called the hypothalamus.
Yes, I've heard of it.
It's this tiny part of the brain.
Yep.
But it controls all the executive functions of the body. And when you get a lesion in the hypothalamus, you can have changes in appetite. Furthermore, a lesion in the hypothalamus can also cause pathological laughter.
Oh.
Yeah, where people just break out into laughter for no apparent reason. And the two parts of the brain that control those two things are intimately related. They're right next to each other in that part of the hypothalamus.
Well, my mind is blown because, of course, we all study the hypothalamus, which is so critical for everything and like all your hormones and everything. But what I'm hearing is you can connect the dots really perfectly here.
I think so.
And in Merv's case, it didn't do you any long-term damage. It's just enabled you to take your life in a new direction.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I ended up getting put under the care of an oncologist. I said, so what do we do? He said, you come back and you visit me and we will continue to laugh. It took 7 months until he just said, you are cured. And I go, great, what do I do now? He said, why don't you keep laughing?
Cured by standard Western medical standards, blood tests, and he showed that your counts were back to normal?
Correct.
So 15 years ago this happened to you, and for the last 15 years you have been laughing. And then you said, OK, I'm going to take that laughter and use it as a tool.
Absolutely. So that was therapy.
Exactly.
Now I do it for my health and wellness to make me well.
Laughing forces muscles to contract, which increases blood flow and oxygen to the heart and lungs. This triggers the release of endorphins, which can make you more relaxed, both physically and emotionally.
Merv, you've developed a technique, I presume.
Yes.
That you then pass on to other people. And,
Yes.
Yeah, OK.
Yes, absolutely. So real laughter that we want coming from our core, where we keep a lot of disease, is here. So we smile and we breathe in because it flares our nostrils. And we go, ho, 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 ho,
the Christmas one, is it? Difficult.
It's difficult until you get used to it, and then it's just so easy. It just starts to flow from your body.
Love it. What do you think about a trial?
Can't say that I got any particular... I wasn't aware of any health benefits from that. I didn't feel particularly, immune charged or... It was interesting. I don't think it's a trial, though.
Look, it was really lovely to hear your story.
But,
and I hate to be sceptical, but I'm just not sure this is real trial material.
Right.
Yeah.
Mervyn, this has been awesome.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
May I leave you with one little exercise?
Merv, let's do it.
Smile string, because a laughter starts with a smile. Bite it, pull it over your ears, drop the jaw. Just look around all the people in the room and just go, ah, ha, 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 ha. Very well. Get out of here. Take care, take care.
There have been some studies that have found laughter may decrease stress hormones, increase immune cells, help burn significant calories, and even help us live longer. The desire to find alternative remedies is something that is embedded within different cultures around the world. And Adama may know more than most about this.
I have a fascination for herbs since I was a young child in West Africa. People rely heavily on herbal remedies over there for treating diseases, and so I became interested in that. I used to collect herbs and put them in a scrapbook. Then I'll go and ask the adults, I say, do you know what this plant is and what you could use it for? So I collected a lot of information about plants that way. When I got older, I got a scholarship to study medicine in China, and I decided to specialize in Chinese medicine because the Chinese have incorporated herbal remedies into their healthcare system. So I found that really interesting. I do believe that I'm just a medium. It's the herbs that do the thing, you know.
Adama is about to share a herbal remedy she's convinced will change people's lives. And she hopes the panel will agree to send it to trial.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Adama, and I believe I've discovered a cure for baldness.
Baldness?
Yeah. Yeah. You try it. Okay. Well, it's all natural.
Okay.
And I use a combination of different herbs and essential oils.
So you are a natural therapist?
I'm a natural therapist.
So people come to you with ailments, including things like baldness?
Baldness, yes.
I
Okay.
got it.
So, yeah.
How do you know it worked?
I usually braid my hair.
This is a tradition of yours?
Yeah, it's a tradition of most Africans. And with African braids, we leave it on for maybe a month or two. And that usually will cause the hair to fall off after, when you take it off, due to the weight of the braids. So I've had to shave my hair at least 5 times in my life.
Because of patches of baldness?
Yes, I don't like it, and so I'll shave the hair. So I started using it, and my hair is stronger and it's growing longer as well. And I decided to try it on men as well. And some men claim that it's helping them.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
okay.
The most common types of hair loss include androgenic alopecia, or male pattern baldness, where the hairline shrinks from the temples. Traction alopecia, caused by damage to the hair follicles by tension such as tight braids, and alopecia areata, an autoimmune condition that attacks the hair follicles.
I once asked a lady that was suffering from alopecia areata. She's been bald since she was 18, and she came to me in her late 40s, and she tried it. And it took her about a month and a half, and she started growing hair in patches.
No way. So the implication is the hair follicles are regrowing, and somehow the stem cells have woken up and worked out how to turn themselves back into hair follicles instead of skin cells. That blows my mind.
This induced hair growth that hadn't been there for years.
For years it does, so something is working, you know, so.
There is no cure for alopecia, but some treatments can help hair regrow. Other treatments can also slow the rate of male pattern baldness.
So you come up with this formula. Can you tell us what's in the formula?
This is a combination of jojoba oil and moringa oil.
And what does that do?
And the jojoba oil and the moringa oil moisturizes and helps the hair shaft to stay strong.
Okay.
And lavender oil, which also acts as a vasodilator, and rosemary as well, acts to stimulate blood flow too.
Rosemary stimulates blood flow?
Yeah.
So you've actually put some science behind this, because we know that there are some Western medicines that improve hair growth.
Yeah.
And they do it so probably by selective vasodilatation of the scalp vessels.
Yeah.
So you chose medications that increase blood flow.
And increase nutrients as well.
It's interesting that you use the word nutrition. This is a shampoo, right?
Yes.
So you're applying something that is nutritious
to the scalp.
to hair. But I always thought that hair was sort of dead. It was just keratin. Or
to the scalp.
To the scalp.
To the scalp, yes.
You're
So
nourishing the scalp.
Yeah, you've got blood vessels on the scalp, so
Right. Okay.
Yes.
The average scalp has between 100 and 150,000 hair follicles. Blood vessels in the scalp feed the root of each hair to make it grow.
I'm really loving what I'm hearing there, because it's really common. Some blokes don't care, but some really do care. But for women, I've never met a woman who is okay with losing hair on her head. And I haven't really found that much that is really helpful. There is a prescription medicine available, but it has a couple of side effects, one of which is that women have found hair growth on their face. You get those thick kind of terminal hairs around your forehead, around, kind of like sideburns. Wow. And women, I think, hate that more than their hair loss. So have you ever had a woman who's experienced that extra hair growth on her face?
Never. It's always just come back where it should be. It's as if the herbs are stimulating what was already there naturally.
Given that we don't really have much else that works, I think this is exactly what we want, is a home remedy, easy to do, quick results. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you.
I've got an open mind, so I've got no great reason to...
He's got plenty of hair.
I know, he's got plenty of hair.
I haven't. It's all makeup. I've got no reason to be hugely sceptical about it, and I'm happy to go along with it.
Adama, thank you very, very much. Look, from a trial perspective, it's perfect. You've got an instant cohort of males and females. You have a way of an endpoint. Your endpoint is hair growth. I think it's a great one for a trial.
That's good, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
To put each remedy to the test, we've enlisted an independent scientific team to conduct clinical research, collecting data from carefully selected patients who can trial the remedy. Participants are selected from across Australia. Here are some who have volunteered to test Adama's hair loss shampoo in a 3-month trial.
I work out, I go to the gym, I do many different things in relation to my appearance, but this is the one thing that I don't seem to be on top of.
39-year-old Ross first noticed his hair loss 8 years ago, and he's desperate to turn things around.
I know that there's not a very good chance it will grow back, but I am ever hopeful that that is a possibility that I can sort of make back ground, or at least stop the hair loss in its tracks for now.
My hair used to come around here, and now it's all the way back here. And I'm worried that it's going to start receding like a man.
Diane's thinning hair has stripped away her confidence.
I'm not as self-confident, definitely not. I used to strut down the street. Now, I've lost a lot.
And I'm keeping this hair longer to cover that area.
And Prem is constantly self-conscious of his baldness, no matter how hard he tries to disguise it.
And when the wind blows, that's where the hair is blown this way and that way, and then I feel a bit embarrassed in the crowd.
And I want to try something new so that the hair can grow back, or it can maintain where it is at the moment. I don't want any more hair loss.
The trial's participants must use Adama's shampoo twice a week for 3 months. They're all hoping it will wash away their problems.
So it's going to be very interesting. I'm really excited about what's going to happen.
I just want to look, you know, youthful and fit and young and hot.
And by the time you come back again, I will have full head of hair and you will not be able to recognize me. Hey!
We'll check in with them later in the program. Melbourne account manager Heath has been brewing an idea he hopes will whet the appetite of our panel and lead to further research.
Check it out.
And after bottling up his remedy, Heath's hoping his brew will be given a trial.
Hi, my name's Heath. This is my remedy.
Hey, it looks awesome.
Beer.
It's a sage ale.
Oh.
I presume you're proposing it as a remedy to something?
I brewed it as a remedy for a cough that I had.
How long ago was this?
Last winter, when there was a big flu season around. I tried the sage as a remedy and it was gone within 3 days.
It cures a cough and it's a beer.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I'm gone, this is it, I'm on board, I love it.
Why sage?
I say sage is antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiseptic, been used for a variety of different ailments over the centuries.
How did you know this?
I'd originally read an article about old recipes and things, and just kind of started hunting around and was kind of curious more that I could be able to step back in time essentially and taste something which hasn't been brewed for a very, very long time.
Originally from the Mediterranean, sage was used by the Romans for digestion, the Egyptians for fertility, and the French used it in tea.
And how do you know it's the beer part? Not that I don't love that, but how do you know it wouldn't work if it was a sage tea or a sage cordial, for example?
It may work, but some of the oils in the sage are more soluble in alcohol and they're not soluble in water.
So that's why.
This is steeped in sage for about 2 weeks.
I see.
Interesting.
Wow. So you're a home brewer by trade, by vocation?
No, just by hobby.
Okay, and you've enjoyed good health all your life, and then suddenly you get this persistent cough, you don't know how to get rid of it, and you decide because of your hobby, you'll join the two together.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's basically it.
Okay.
So do friends put on fake coughs around you just so they can sample your wares?
I did have some friends who were coming up with coughs, and I'd suggest
They were faking it.
try this.
And what's the therapeutic dose? How many of these do you need to knock back to get rid of your cough?
Well, I had one per night.
Okay, well that's
Ginny,
not...
do you know what you just said then?
No, 'cause-
You said how many do you knock back. You don't say how many Moxil capsules do you have to knock back.
Well, so my concern was going
how much do you have to take?
to safe drinking levels, because we don't want people having a litre of this stuff a night, but one a night is within safe drinking levels, so I don't have a problem with that.
I don't drink alcohol, but I must say, there's one panellist who would die to try it. Yeah, he's hanging out. He's already been coughing, if you haven't noticed.
I know, it's been terrible. I've had this for months.
Just thinking a sage
Beer
ale
o'clock.
would go down a treat.
Yeah, I'd love to try it. I mean, I don't like beer, so it's going to be interesting to see if I actually...
Well, you might like this, but it's not as bitter as normal.
Ginny, are you up for a small or a large?
Come on, top it up.
Don't be shy.
Nice. That's better.
All right.
Okay.
I guess we should raise a toast. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
It's different.
That tastes great. I think it tastes of sage, not surprisingly.
That works.
It's really nice.
Quite frankly, it tastes like beer to me.
It's really subtle, but it's definitely there.
I'll take the compliment.
And it also has a remedial quality, so that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's very nice, but sorry, you haven't converted me to beer. I had to be a sports board here, but Heath, our job here is to assess whether these things are worth a trial. Personally, I'm not quite sure it is.
Come on, Charlie. I feel like you're conflicted here.
And I feel that you are very personally invested in this one. But it's nothing against the sage, it's nothing against your product and your passion for this product. There are issues in the fact that a lot of children have chronic coughs, and it's a big problem in them, but to give them an alcoholic product, it would be a no-go.
But from a scientific perspective, there have been lots of indigenous civilizations that have used sage, and we know that there have been trials that have demonstrated some efficacy against sort of viral pharyngitis. So there's lots of boxes being ticked, I guess, but I understand your reservations as well.
But I mean, I think if you could enjoy a cold one with a friend and get rid of your cold at the same time, as long as you just stuck to one, I think that sounds like a winner.
So thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
While there's no evidence Heath's ale will cure a cough, some medical journals report that beer, in moderation of course, may reduce the risk of heart disease and kidney stones.
Heath, is it going to trial?
No.
Okay.
So not that good, but they seem to enjoy the idea of having a beer and a remedy.
Oh, okay. They got too distracted by the beer.
They were too distracted by the beer.
Coming up, can a connection with nature help cancer patients?
We're going to walk around a tree.
Yes.
And will this sweet brew succeed at soothing whooping cough?
And so you've got your science goggles on.
Yes, I do. They make me look intelligent.
They do.
We've searched across Australia to find home remedies that deserve to be shared. The treatments can take many forms, but Susan's ancient Chinese path to healing is as simple as putting one foot in front of the other.
Hi, my name is Susan. I'm from Melbourne.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hello,
Meet you,
everyone.
Suzanne.
Nice to meet you too.
Tell us why you're here.
Yes, I'm here to share how I came across energy bagua. I learned
Energy
that
what?
Energy bagua, which is a walking meditation.
Oh.
Yeah. Walk under the tree is so inspiring and powerful.
So that's why we've got a tree in here. You're going to walk around a tree.
Yes.
And what are the clinical benefits? So what diseases are helped by walking meditation?
Most diseases can benefit from doing this form of meditation because it increases your immunity, it boosts your energy level. It also helps to improve the limbs and joint if you've got weak limbs and joint.
It's believed that Bagua walking meditation was developed by Chinese monks 4,000 years ago to promote a disease-free body and a stillness of mind.
So we have certain technique, like we have to walk 64 circles, alternate clockwise and anti-clockwise.
Can you demonstrate walking meditation?
Yes, I would. On the first round, we always do this action for one cycle. And this is the main part. Index finger facing the tree and always straight, because when you do the index finger straight, the finger pointing to heaven and the second finger towards the elbow, that's earth and this is us. So we're working in sync with nature. So energy Bagua is the revolution energy of heaven and earth. So I turn this around. And then the first cycle is always, this is double palm. This is the routine that we follow.
How do you believe that this is being beneficial for you?
For me, it is about cancer. I am a survivor of cancer 6 years now.
Oh.
And I had breast cancer. I've done this over a year now. And the best part is I just saw my doctor not long ago. I've gone better and better. That make me very happy because I do not want to have any recurrence.
For the first 4.5, 5 years, you were cancer-free without walking meditation. Why did you feel compelled to do something more than just living a healthy lifestyle?
Because I know I can't take tamoxifen for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And they've alternated some other medicines. So in time to come, I'm getting myself ready to be prescription-free.
Just to explain tamoxifen for a minute, because tamoxifen blocks estrogen receptors throughout the body, but including in any cancer cells that might be there. And that's been fantastic because estrogen receptor positive tumours with tamoxifen, you do much better. But there's some debate amongst doctors, do you take it for 5 years or for 10 years? But regardless, you don't take it forever.
Yes, that's the reason why I prepare myself. I'm still under the supervision of my oncologist.
Good.
I wouldn't just drop off as I think suitable. This is an extra layer of protection for myself.
There's good science behind reducing your risk of recurrence with breast cancer by walking 10,000 steps a day. And more recently, an article published said 20,000 steps a day. Having watched you do that, that is actually more difficult physically than just walking. The position you're in and the way you were rotating around the tree. So I think you're arguably doing your 10,000 steps in a less ergonomic way.
Yeah, it looked like it took some effort. It was quite strenuous, actually.
It looked like Tai Chi.
Almost looked like Tai Chi. You should put a pedometer on. I bet you do about... I wonder how many steps you do.
Interesting.
I like it. Thank you very much. Not the sort of remedy we would take to a trial, but nevertheless very interesting, and thanks for sharing it with us.
The old saying that we have, walking around a tree, will lead you to live to that golden age of 99.
Well, I hope you live to 99, Suzanne. Thank you so much for coming in
Suzanne,
and sharing with us.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Studies have shown that adding even small amounts of walking to your routine may increase heart and lung health, improve blood pressure, and help reduce cholesterol.
Oh, that was lovely. She looked incredibly physically strong when she was doing that.
Very impressive, I thought. It struck me that the movement, the repetition, was helping her clear her mind. And of course, I'm not necessarily suggesting I can understand exactly how that's going to keep cancer at bay. Of course not. But the physical and the mental benefits of that seem, convincing to me.
For people who struggle with just sitting down and meditating, this is a perfect alternative.
For some people, looking backwards is the key to a healthier future. Malaysian-born Andrew's respect for the past is his key ingredient to healing.
My great-grandfather was a herbalist, and I've always had this curiosity and fascination, with the old Chinese herbalists. It's really important that we bring in traditional Chinese medicine into the modern world right now because all these remedies have been used for such a long time.
Chinese herbs are Andrew's passion, and he's determined to preserve his family's heritage by sharing some of their secrets.
This is actually bringing back tradition and heritage and a little bit of who I am. Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. Look like you've got a platter of goodness here for us.
Yes, I do. This is a cough remedy, and it helped me when I had whooping cough as a child.
Oh, is that how you came to know about it?
That's right. My grandmother made it for me. And it's actually a really ancient Chinese remedy.
So there's some kind of scientific basis behind this, do you reckon?
There is. You put a couple of herbs and fruits and, together, the synergy of it just makes that formula work.
What do you reckon our doctors are going to say about your remedy?
Don't know. They'll have to try it.
Have fun in there.
Thank you very much.
Andrew is hoping his soothing tea will convince the panel to study it further.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Andrew.
I can see you've got your science goggles on.
Yes, I do. They make me look intelligent.
They do.
And my remedy today is an ancient traditional Chinese remedy for severe coughs.
This is your own recipe?
I've used this since I had whooping cough as a child. And my grandmother...
Here we go. So there's much more history
Much
to this.
more to it, yeah. So my grandmother actually made it for me because I was coughing so much that the capillaries in my lungs were starting to break and I was starting to cough blood. Yeah, in the old Chinese, they call it the 100-day cough.
And we call that in the modern Australian too.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Although studies actually show that you cough much longer than 100 days.
Yeah, yeah. So
obviously
it worked. It really soothed the system and it stopped the dry cough from being that dry.
Now, have you always had an interest in Chinese medicine?
Well, I am a herbalist by trade, so...
You've been practicing for many years now?
For about 15 years. I think I've always had that interest.
Wanting to be a healer of other people?
Wanting to be a healer, but I also love the ritual and, picking out herbs, like going with my mother and grandmother to the old apothecary and seeing all those drawers of herbs and, they just go, what do you have? They check your pulse and then they start picking stuff up and weighing it in this little scale, It's just, as a child, it's magical.
You're a different person to me. I rejected my past. I wanted to become Australianised.
Right.
I didn't want to have anything to do with my Chinese past. I was mocked at school, subjected to racial vilification, and the last thing I wanted to do was to embrace my past. Now that I have, recently, I must say that I share the same sentiments as you.
Thank you.
So you said this works on whooping cough. That's an infection, isn't it, of pertussis?
It's really serious in babies who can die.
Right.
But it's just difficult with this cough that it's exhausting.
But do adults get whooping cough?
Well, yes. The evidence at the moment in Australia is that the group who suffer the most from whooping cough are the elderly. And they are debilitated by it. They lose their sleep, they are weakened, they are exhausted, and then they're prone to catching other things. And in fact, that's another bugbear of mine. I think we should be vaccinating more elderly people against whooping cough because even though it's not a perfect vaccine, it's a whole lot better than catching it unvaccinated.
Despite a national vaccination program, whooping cough is still common. The most recent data reveals more than 20,000 reported cases of the disease in Australia.
So, how do you prepare it?
It's really, really simple. It's basically figs, north and south apricot kernels, honey dates, rock sugar and apple.
Yum.
Put it all into a pot with 3 litres of water and you boil it down.
And you drink it like a tea?
And you drink it like a tea. So figs are usually used in Chinese remedies for coughs. The rock sugar will help the tickle in the throat. Dates in Chinese medicine, it's all about pulling everything together. And it also helps with the gut. And as you know, all your serotonin and melatonin is made in your gut. So if you can produce more of that in your remedy, it will help you rest and therefore get well faster. And the apple, besides the fact that it's high in antioxidants, also nourishes the body. Because I guess when you're coughing the way that I did, you really don't have the energy to eat. And sometimes just that little bit of nourishment will help.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd love to taste it.
Yeah, of course.
It just sounds so good. Fig, apple.
amazing. And it's quite a unique flavour from the north and south apricot kernels. There you go.
Thank you very much, Lovely.
Thank you.
Lucky lass.
See how respectful he was? He gave it to the eldest person first.
Thank
I like
you.
that, Andrew.
There you go.
Nice.
All right, guys.
Okay, cheers, bottoms up.
Yum.
It is nice, it's a bit sweet.
It is very sweet, yes. People love and come back to this remedy because it just tastes nice and it's great for kids. Kids can have it, you know, there's no side effects to it.
Chronic cough is a problem. I do know that we don't address it very well. I like the fact that you've combined folklore with science and you've come up with very specific quantities of these components and they all have a reason behind them.
That's right.
And I must say that if I had to vote, I'd be voting for this to be taken to a trial.
Oh, thank you.
From a conventional scientific perspective, I'm interested. And I know that some Chinese medicines have been studied by Western medicines, and some active ingredient has been isolated. So I'm really interested in it. Absolutely, there's so much more for science to try and investigate what's going on. So I think we should send this to trial.
Wonderful.
I've polished mine off. I would drink this all day.
Oh my
I
God, you have to.
I know, I love it. I think it has everything that I love in there.
So I think we're going to take this to trial.
Oh, fantastic. This is really exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I can actually see what my grandmother gave me, you know, from the scientific perspective as well. Thank you.
Excellent, Andrew. Cheers.
Cheers.
We'll delve deeper into Andrew's remedy later in the program.
Oh, you got a trial.
I got a trial. I know, it's pretty exciting.
Congratulations.
Yes,
How you
thank
feeling?
It comes out that it's fantastic. Great, people need to know this remedy, and if it's not, you know, it's a placebo, then we'll just have to enjoy it for the taste of it. It's a win-win either way.
Coming up, seeds of doubt over Andrew's remedy.
You could concentrate that component and then end up with a very toxic extract. So I was a little bit concerned.
And is a simple remedy the key to curing stomach ulcers?
Did those symptoms improve immediately?
Yes.
Next to meet the panel is Sarah. She hopes her unconventional remedy will make it to a trial.
Sarah, welcome. You brought a friend.
Yes, this is an aloe vera plant.
Right. Okay, well, you're about to go before a panel of doctors. What do you think they're going to say about this?
I've grown up using aloe vera for sunburns. A lot of people don't even know that you can eat it raw just as is. So I think they're going to have a lot of questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got some answers for them?
Yeah, non-scientific, but just my own experience.
That's
We'll
right.
see.
You can leave the science to them.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
let's see how you go.
Thanks. Hello.
Hi.
My name's Sarah, and my home remedy is aloe vera jelly for the stomach ulcer.
Oh. Tell us where you came across that remedy.
I've always had issues with acid reflux. I had an endoscopy, and it showed that I had a stomach ulcer in the opening of the esophagus, I think I was told.
You had symptoms of an ulcer. What were those symptoms? Abdominal pain,
Yeah,
chest pain?
burning. It started up higher here, and then it would just spread.
Yeah.
What happens is the stomach is full of hydrochloric acid, and it's like a car battery acid. It's so acidic, and it does help to break down proteins like in meat and also to absorb certain nutrients. And there's a little one-way valve that sits between the stomach and the food pipe. So it allows food to go in through the food pipe, but no acid to go back up from the stomach into the food pipe, because you get a chemical burn which can ulcerate at the base of the esophagus.
The doctor was like, cut chili, coffee for a year, and you're good to go. And that was it. So I felt like I didn't get enough answers.
Okay, once you diagnosed it, it didn't treat you apart from modifying your diet.
Yeah, and one of our family friends said, aloe jelly.
And then you start taking aloe vera. Did those symptoms improve immediately?
Yes, and I haven't had a single acid reflux or heartburn.
Sarah, all aloe vera plants are edible, or are only some of them
No,
edible?
there's different types, and this is the one that you can digest.
That looks like pure jelly.
Yeah, pure jelly. I have to crush it.
Can you tell us how you make it?
Yes, I can. Just a little bit. And then cut the sides, the thorns. It's quite firm, the jelly. Crush it like that.
Just consume it?
Yeah, just
How
once
much
a
did
day.
you know how to consume?
Tablespoon
Okay.
in the morning with an empty stomach, 15 minutes before eating.
Yep.
You do feel that cooling effect when I digest the jelly.
There have actually been some trials for aloe vera, and there's been some research in some specific gastroenterology journals, so all about your GI tract. And they've suggested that aloe vera can stimulate an anti-inflammatory immune molecule. So it's called interleukin-10. And it can really dampen down inflammation. So there's something here.
If you had an immediate soothing effect and the pain had gone, surely it's not anything that's, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. Surely all it's done is just coat the ulcer so that acid's no longer bathing it.
One of the therapies that we used, apart from turning off the acid tap from your stomach just to give your esophagus a bit of a rest, is we do use items that kind of coat the lining of the esophagus to allow it to heal.
Could also work for mouth ulcers then, couldn't it? If it's just a coating effect. Then...
I've seen quite a few studies of aloe for mouth ulcers, so yeah.
Here's my problem. She takes the aloe vera, it coats her ulcer, allows it time to heal, but the genesis of the ulcer was an incompetent gastroesophageal valve. She still has that, surely. So Sarah should probably have another endoscopy at some stage.
Absolutely.
So the question that I'm mulling over is of course, whether we should put this to trial or not. And my opinion is that it's quite convincing to me that it's worth a shot. I think that the scientific evidence that we've discussed are what win me over, but I'd love to know your opinions.
Well, look, I think the literature, certainly in my view, is quite convincing when it comes to aloe vera and its medicinal effect on open wounds on the skin. I mean, I worked in a burns unit where we conducted a very, very informal double-blinded trial where some people had aloe vera rubbed on and the other people just had sorbolene and glycerol rubbed on. And the people with aloe vera, they had much better healing. So I think there's virtually no doubt, in my mind at least, that aloe vera is very effective when it comes to wounds on the skin.
Yeah, which I grew up using all the time.
Exactly,
as well.
But I'm not quite sure the literature is as convincing when it comes to internal grazes like an ulcer.
It would be a really hard no from me. We'd need to establish whether this was gastric ulcers or not. If it was gastric ulcers, untreated gastric ulcers can lead to major internal bleeding, which is life-threatening. I think it would be unethical to withhold standard therapy there. From this trial perspective, I've got, neon signs going up everywhere saying no way, but...
Right, OK. OK, I take your points.
Well, Sarah, thank you very much, and thanks for demonstrating the actual mechanism by which you get the jelly.
Thank you.
OK, thank you.
While aloe vera is commonly used for culinary purposes in India, Malaysia and Singapore, only the clear gel within the leaf is consumed. The rest of the leaf can be toxic. Earlier, Andrew presented the panel with a traditional remedy for relieving whooping cough, which they agreed to send for further study.
So I think we're going to take this to trial.
Oh, fantastic. This is really exciting. Now I can actually see what my grandmother gave me, from the scientific perspective as well. Thank you.
For the purposes of this study, we've enlisted scientists to give us an independent analysis of Andrew's key ingredients. Charlie's come to the National Institute of Complementary Medicine to meet Dr. Caroline E. She's trained in both Western and Chinese medicine.
What I think the main ingredients are that help with the cough relieving effect are apricot kernels. There have been a couple of animal trials in mice, and somehow they managed to induce cough, and they gave them a formula that contained exactly these ingredients, so the apricot kernels, and they did find that the mice stopped coughing. These here are grown in the south, and these are a sweeter, sort of gentler kernel. The apricot kernels that are grown in the north of China, so these smaller ones here.
Right.
So these are a bit more bitter, and they're considered by Chinese to be a little bit more toxic.
Toxic?
It's been reported in the traditional literature that, you should be careful, but I think that's in large doses.
Okay.
So I think in these doses that were prescribed in the home remedy, I think that would be okay.
Okay.
Potential toxicity is a serious concern, so Dr. E has sent the kernels to the lab for further analysis.
When we started testing the remedy and we saw that it contained amygdalin, which may help to suppress coughs.
Initial findings reveal the kernels contain traces of amygdalin, a plant toxin that belongs to the cyanide group. This could be a major stumbling block for Andrew.
When you extract it, you could concentrate that component and then end up with a very toxic extract. So in listed medicines, there's not allowed to be any amygdalin detected. In a medicine, it's very tightly regulated. As a food, they're allowed to contain the amygdalin, which is one of the major active components. The levels that we see are quite low, so it's safe.
Now that his tea is safe enough to drink, we'll find out next if it actually works. The time has come to reveal the results for Andrew's herbal tea for relieving whooping cough.
I had whooping cough as a child, so my grandmother actually made it for me. Hello.
Hello.
Andrew.
Welcome
I
back.
believe you're more colourful than when we last saw you.
always try to be as colourful as possible.
So Andrew, you brought us a Chinese traditional medicine herbal tea for the treatment of coughs.
But we found it really interesting, and we sent it off to the National Institute of Complementary Medicine. The scientists there look at what you were recommending in your remedy to see if it actually had any of a scientific merit to it.
I'm really excited to hear this.
So, an antitussive agent is an anti-cough agent.
Yep.
In fact, two of the components have strong antitussive components in the form of a substance called amygdalin, which is a well-known antitussive. The fig has amygdalin in it, and also the North and South Chinese apricot kernels. To the extent where it's probably of the same or very similar concentration as those tested in animal studies as an antitussive agent.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. The concentrations were very similar to those in this particular study on mice and their reaction to a particular agent that caused coughs, and it suppressed the cough in those mice. So absolute scientific evidence to show that components in these substances actually do have an anti-coughing effect.
Wonderful.
We know that a lot of over-the-counter cough medicines are not recommended, particularly for younger children, because the side effects outweigh the benefits. And we couldn't really find anything that had any major red flags on it. So that was quite interesting and quite hopeful for parents.
We really appreciate you bringing this to our attention, to the public's attention. Good luck with your entire tea philosophy, and have a great day.
Thank you very much. See ya.
See ya.
I'm really excited that this remedy truly works and it's scientifically proven now. And I'm just excited to share it with everyone.
Next is Adama with her hair loss shampoo.
I started using it and my hair is stronger and it's growing longer as well. And I decided to try it on men as well.
Because hair growth is a slow process, Adama's trial runs for 3 months, longer than all the regular studies. Her trialists all have reasons for wanting more hair. Ross has lost confidence in his looks.
I just want to look, youthful and fit and young and hot.
Diane is no longer her former vivacious self.
I'm not as self-confident, definitely not. I used to strut down the street.
And Prem has become increasingly self-conscious.
Hair is blown this way and then I feel a bit embarrassed in the crowd.
So 6 weeks in, and with the trial at the halfway stage, will Adama's shampoo have started to help?
Adam, lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
Bad news first is that unfortunately the trial hasn't been completed.
Okay.
But the good news is that we've got quite a few comments from some of the participants and we'd like to share them with you.
Okay, that's good.
The only change that I have noticed is that the amount of hair that used to fall before has been reduced considerably. The smell was pleasant. Even after washing the hair, I can feel the head completely clean. or cleaner than other shampoos outside. Yes. Even after the trial, I'll still continue using it.
Next comment. Here we go.
I'm yet to see any changes at this stage, but I am hopeful that they will be kicking in shortly.
Your prediction, I presume, is that they will experience more tangible results at the end of the trial. Is that what you're hoping for?
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, okay.
I noticed a difference actually in a week, believe it or not. I've actually noticed hair growing. So it's actually growing back.
I love her enthusiasm. I think given what we know scientifically about the cycle of a hair growth, which we know is about 3 months, I'm really going to say that after 1 week, if she's noticing anything, probably not to do with the shampoo.
What's nice from those comments is it suggests that compliance is high.
Yes.
People quite like your remedy, and we will see potentially something at the end of it. So that's I think, a good.
Yeah.
I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that it's going to be shown to be
I'm
actually
doing the same too.
worthwhile.
Charlie, there's hope for you yet. You could look like Donald Trump within 3 weeks.
Thank you very much for having me.
6 weeks later, and the results from the trial are in. 33% of participants experienced hair growth, 38% felt that their hair appeared thicker, and 88% said they'll continue using the remedy. Next time on Medicine or Myth, can this concoction change the lives of more than 1 million Australians?
No way, you've got rid of your diabetes altogether.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And raw red meat for wounds. Is this the cure of our panel's dreams or nightmares?
No.
Yes.
You've had that in your bed?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
This program provides general information only and does not recommend or endorse any particular treatment. It is not intended to replace the advice provided by your own doctor or medical or health professional.